Hey Calera, we're back with another Calera Living. We get to talk with our city engineer, Chris Pappas. He's going to tell us all the details of the new Calera courtyard happening right behind me. Enjoy the episode. All right, I'm here with Chris Pappas. We're in what is going to be the brand new Calera courtyard, right?
That's correct. Calera courtyard.
Now,
part of Calera Main Street.
Part of Calera Main Street. Now, right now, we've got a little construction going on, right?
A little busy.
So, if you have seen the articles written and the information out there about what's coming, it looks awesome. It's incredible, but we're just kind of going to break down for them exactly what's going to happen and give them some logistical where things are going to go, right?
Yeah.
So tell me all about it.
Okay, so this is phase one of the Calera courtyard. So, and this is the first contract of phase one. There'll be multiple contracts. So this is earthwork and storm drainage, and then we'll have another contractor that will do curb and gutter, another contractor that will do paving and concrete, sidewalk, and so on.
Okay.
But out here, you'll have a north of 17th Street, or 17th Avenue is the limit of phase one. It goes from 17th Avenue up to behind these existing buildings.
Okay.
In the center will be a pavilion. So you're going to have a pavilion there for different events that Main Street has. Over there, nearest where the dumpsters are located now, on the other side of that excavator will be public restrooms, because we don't have public restrooms out here. So we have events that becomes, an issue.
Right.
And then you'll have a drive that'll loop around this with some parking, with some handicap parking, and then sidewalks that'll tie everything from the front to the rear. And then around the pavilion, you'll have a lot of concrete flat work and some landscaping, just some good common open space where food vendors can set up, or different vendors. And then we'll have a playground area, and then another kind of a general purpose recreational area, not a big area, but an area where we may be able to set up cornhole tournaments, something of, that nature. So, but that will take place, the full build out of phase one, 12 to 18 months, hoping for 12.
And that would be the full everything that you've just talked about, because it is going to be phases. This is
this is the first
phase.
Contract. Yeah, that is this phase of the first contract of phase one. The dirt moving and the storm drainage will be done in probably 60 to 75 days.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been working for about 10 days, and they're making real good progress. You can see we hit some rock.
Yeah.
So, that's part of living in Calera. We hit rock everywhere.
Absolutely.
Every time we decide to dig a hole somewhere, we hit rock. But we're having to bust it out of the way.
Yeah.
But that contract will be done, like I said, in probably 60 to 75 days. Then we've got a little underground utility work to do, underground power, because eventually all these overhead power lines will be gone.
Okay.
So we're putting all the power underground. We got to put in conduit, that type of stuff. And then we'll get into pouring curb and gutter, putting in the asphalt, pouring sidewalks, pouring concrete, and tying all this back together and cleaning it up. Then we'll have a barrier, kind of a fence barrier, separating the railroad tracks from this space. So if you're here, it might help knock down the sound of a train a little, but we're so close to the railroad tracks that, you've got to expect it's kind of hard to eliminate the sound of a train coming by. But it'll create a physical and a visual barrier there, so we provides some additional safety aspects. So because this whole ditch here, all this will be filled in.
Okay.
And this side will be raised up in elevation, so it'll match the grade of the top of that bank next to the railroad tracks. Okay. So
I think it's very interesting to hear all the background on that, because as residents, we might just read the article and think, that's great, when's it going to happen? It's super easy, right? But there's so much that goes into it, the underground work, so to speak, of it. So once this phase one is finished, then tell us what the next phase is going to be.
So phase one stops at 17th Avenue.
Yes.
The additional next phase will go beyond 17th Avenue, going south, and that's where you'll have an amphitheater, a lot more common space. There's a place where, if you had concerts, where you would set up your chairs, or tables, or vendors would set up. But that really needs to wait for the bridge to happen.
Yes.
So, if we could fast forward a few years, we'd see a bridge coming over the railroad tracks
Okay.
there. And then when the bridge comes in, then we eliminate this crossing right here.
Okay.
We will eliminate this crossing. We'll take 17th Avenue out. Or 17th Avenue will be taken out till you get to where it ties into the street
Right.
that comes through this, through the clear
The courtyard,
courtyard.
yeah.
So that will take 17th Avenue out. The bridge will be in, and then we'll be able to do phase 2.
And so if you missed our video where we talked all about the bridge coming in, that was a couple months ago, I think.
Yes.
Go back and watch that, and it will really give you an idea of what a change is going to be made around here over the next few years. But it is a process. You talked about you have never done the kind of work that you've worked with the tell me again, because
the Federal Railroad Administration.
Federal Railroad Administration.
So
there you go.
we work with all of our state and federal agencies all the time. Federal Highway Administration, out ADM, but never the Federal Railroad Administration. So they've only been doing grants for 2 years. So nobody really knows what to expect as far as how the money is going to flow down out of DC. But we do have our first Zoom meeting with them next week.
Okay.
So after next week, we'll have a good idea of kind of forming a picture of how that's going to look as far as timing, selecting consultants, and then just how all the money will. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
So when we're going to get the money, how we're going to get it, what hoops do we have to jump through?
Right.
So
absolutely.
We'll kind of figure that out next week. We also have a TAP grant that we applied for. I think we discussed it last time, but it will be, if we get that grant, and we got our fingers crossed that we'll get that grant, it'll be about $1 million project that will do streetscaping and sidewalks in front of these shops here. And that will tie back into Clear Courtyard phase 1.
I mean, it's going to be
really
transformed
you
around
won't
here.
recognize, in a few years, you won't recognize this behind the area.
Perfect
behind the buildings.
Right,
So,
right. This is perfect for this growing city. I think it's going to be so wonderful. Also, fire station, you've awarded the bids for that, right?
Fire Station 1 contract was awarded to Kaiser Construction of Tuscaloosa, and we have their contracts back. We have a pre-construction conference scheduled for next week. Okay. And we are doing the site work on that. So our guys in my office, in conjunction with guys at Public Works, we're doing the building prep. So we're doing the dirt work. And we've ran into that same rock down at
it's haunting you.
Yeah, down at the fire station site. So we've got to do the same thing they're doing here, bust that rock out, then we can bring the dirt up. So Kaiser may be waiting just a little while on us to get that building pad prepped. But we'll meet with them next week and start getting in shop drawings and submittals, and hopefully we'll have that site for them ready to go. Pretty soon they can hit the ground running, and so super excited to get new fire station 1 built.
Absolutely, and that'll be across from the library area,
Across from the library, yes. On the right sides, when you turn to go to the high school, it'll be right on the right, which will be a great location, in relation to the high school and the library and the sports, Oliver and Eagle Sports Complex will be a great location.
You guys have your work cut out for you over the next few years, Chris. I don't know that I envy you on that.
we've got enough to keep us busy.
Yes, you do. So. Thank you for all the hard work you guys are putting into it, and for taking the time to explain to us everything that's going on, where it's going to be.
Of course.
It's going to be awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Sounds good. Thanks.